I am ready. Good afternoon and welcome to Wave Your Grades. This is a very exciting opportunity this afternoon because our very special guest will be Rebecca Bradley. Brother Louis George Walker, producer, engineer, and founder of KUAW.org. Before going to Rebecca Bradley, I want to thank those who have been patient, waiting for us to come on. We are a little late, and I will attempt to explain that. And or you may be looking at, listening to a recording of the program. This gives me an opportunity, Sister Rebecca Bradley, before we talk, to ask of Louis George Walker, as I do each week, the various ways those who attend, if you will, can access a program on KUAW.org. But the reason I'm excited about this program, albeit coming on a little late, is because Rebecca Bradley agreed to this, in fact, 20 minutes ago, because I have a special program I was looking to do concerning the letter petition at one of our area high schools asking for a return to slavery. And this happens to be an alumnus from that school and a parent. And it turned out that her daughter has activities this afternoon. She's willing to come on. And Rebecca Bradley had talked about doing something special for us, and I don't know how she does it. I don't know how I am so fortunate as to have her to support our program. So, Louis George Walker, before we ask Rebecca Bradley to come on this afternoon, what are the ways the program can be accessed, and will this be available as a recorded program later? All right. Thank you very much, Louis George Walker, founder of KUAW.org, KUAW, knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. Now, trying the patience of our very good friend and supporter, Rebecca Bradley. Rebecca Bradley, welcome to Wave Your Grades.
And I thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I love your show, and I love having opportunity to speak to veterans as well as their family members. There's so much information out there that I want to get out to them. I've been doing this job 15 years, and I said to myself, you know what? I need to write down these questions that people always call and ask. I started off with 10, and now I'm up to 100 plus.
Wait a minute.
Yes. There's so many questions that people ask me. But, you know, the VA offers so much, and laws just change almost weekly, daily, monthly, yearly. There's always something that I'm learning. There's new information to be gotten. And so, what few of the questions I do have, there are a whole lot more.
Well, now let me just say, Waive Your Grades is a program that asks American students to strive for excellence in honor of our troops, of course, in honor of our veterans. Will you please give our new listeners a little bit of history on your background, what it is that you do, and what it is that you're about to do this afternoon?
Okay. First off, I was born and raised right here in Kansas City, went to Central High School, and I followed it up with Central Missouri State, which is now called University of Central Missouri. I went into ROTC. From there, I went into the military intelligence. I got out as a captain and went into the reserve and was promoted to major. But I've been working with veterans pretty much since I've gotten out. I started helping veterans with employment, helping them find jobs. I taught the TAPS class to teach veterans how to do their resumes, how to find jobs once they got out. From there, I now do benefit claims, and my goal is to encourage minority veterans to apply for their benefits, their veterans benefits, their state benefits, and local benefits. And so I guess that would start off my first question, because I work for the Missouri Veterans Commission, and people want to know, how does the Missouri Veterans Commission differ from the VA?
Well, please go right ahead. Thank you. Thank you.
The Missouri Veterans Commission is a state agency. We fall under the whole Missouri state entity, and we are a portion of that, and we are the commission that works with veterans. The Missouri Veterans Commission here, we have cemeteries, we have veteran homes,
Wow.
And then we have a minority veterans coordinator, which I am. We have a women's coordinator. We even have an incarcerated coordinator. And our jobs are to ensure that minority women and people who are incarcerated are informed about their jobs. I do marketing to veterans. I have programs that I offer from time to time, outreach programs. And when I do those programs, I try to make it a family fun event, because a lot of times it is the spouses who realize that something is different about their veteran loved one, or either their mom, dad, or siblings, or whoever. And they too need to get that information to help not only the veterans, but find out information how to help them as dependents of veterans. Now, when it comes to the incarcerated program coordinator, sometimes we have veterans who find themselves sentenced to prison or jail for whether it's a short time, long time, or whatever. But if a veteran who is receiving benefits, let's say they're receiving 50%, and they get sentenced to jail for a significant period of time. Well, that incarcerated veteran will go in and assist that veteran, because their 50% will be reduced down to 10%. And if they don't reduce it, then when they get out of prison, they're going to have to pay all of that money back. So the Missouri Veterans Commission has set aside a veteran service officer who will go in and assist that veteran to reduce that money. And then when they get out, we help them reclaim that money. Now, I also want to say, I always like to talk about the dependents. So if a veteran goes into prison and he's 50%, 60, 70, 80, or what have you, he may have a spouse. And to reduce that all the way down to 10%, that spouse would be injured party. So we do have a program where the spouse can go in and request for what we call an apportionment, so they won't be totally destitute. So that's a good thing, and that's offered through the VA. And then we have the women's program. The women's program, what we do is we try to reach out to women veterans. Women veterans, like minority veterans, which I coordinate the program, we have unique needs and concerns, and they need to be addressed. You know, recently we've been, you've seen news about women who were treated less than, I guess, decent. And so some of them need someone to talk to include minority veterans too. And we try to do what we can to assist that veteran. And a lot of times it really helps when we get those veterans into counseling, and then we help them with claims. And what a claim will do for a veteran who was severely mentally injured, and we call those invisible wounds, just as if a veteran went off to war.
Wow.
Sometimes they might not be able to work because of their mental health. And so what we in turn do is help them submit a claim so they can get money to live off of until they get back up on their feet. And most times they will be able to keep that money unless they're feeling better. That's the only time they take that money away. But we don't want anyone to be destitute out there. So again, that was the incarcerated veteran, the women program coordinator, and the minority program coordinator. And we exist on both the federal VA level as well as the state level.
Now, I may, as you know, as we have done before, ask more often than just once, contact information and considering the minorities, the incarcerated, the women, others, they might call you, but you would be able to give them the direct number for all of the different services. What is contact information?
My number is 816-352-2535. Now, if they give me a call, I will get them to the right person, and we will be glad to give anyone the information, the assistance that they need. And so I mentioned those three program coordinators, but the Missouri Veterans Commission, we also have what we call Veteran Service Officers. Now, you have other organizations such as DAV, VFW, National Association for Black Veterans, Paralyzed Veterans of America, American GI Forum, which is a lot of Hispanic veterans join that one. But there's a plethora of organizations, and we all generally strive to help veterans apply for VA benefits.
Now, is there an app, or might I access something called frequently asked questions beyond what we are privileged to air on this program, Wavy Grades?
I don't know if there's an app, but I know if you go to YouTube, there are so many persons out there that discusses VA claims and how you may be able to qualify for claims and such like that. So again, just go into YouTube, and because some people may have a particular problem, say for instance, they may hurt their knee, and you go in and say, how do I get approved for my knee condition? And something will come up. And then also they have some of them out there that will tell you what are the top disabilities that are approved. So yes, but there's no one particular app that will do that for you. So just put it in your search engine, whatever question you have, when it comes to your claim, then you will find something.
Well, what's another frequently asked question?
Okay, so a lot of times people just want to know, are they eligible for benefits?
Yes.
So what happened is most veterans, unless they have received a dishonorable discharge, and I find few of those. In my 15 years, I could count on one hand and still have fingers left over. People who have dishonorable discharges. So, but everybody is not eligible for the same benefits, but everybody, if you don't have that dishonorable, you're eligible for something. You know, we always like to focus on the VA or the state, but Veterans Day is about to come around, and then you have all of those restaurants that give you free meals. And then I know, like in my grocery store, they give you points where you can get the free gas.
Wow.
Hotels, airfare. You know, somebody just ask them, even if it's not Veterans Day. I know I went to get my tire changed, and my tires were like $480. And so he rung it up, and I asked him, I said, "Sir, I forgot to ask, do you have veterans discount?" And he said, yes. And he put $50 back onto my credit card.
Uh-oh.
So, yes.
Outstanding.
I always get it through the VA, but the community appreciate and love veterans. Yeah. So always ask. And I know there's certain towns like down in Branson, most of the stores offer veterans discounts, you know, and I'm certain other states will also have towns that celebrate veterans with discounts. The national parks, they offer benefits too. I know when I went to Washington, D.C., and we went to the National Cemetery, I got in free. So just ask and make sure that you have your VA card or your DD-214. And the state of Missouri, what they have done is they put a little sticker or embed a little logo within your driver's license if you're a veteran. You don't have to carry the DD-214. So yes, for the most part, if you served in the military, there are some type of benefit. But the monetary benefit are the ones that you receive from the VA, the Department of Veterans Affairs. Now, where the state agencies come in, we help you apply for those benefits through UAB, VFW, and etc.
Wow.
Okay.
Let me tell you a privilege I was apprised of that I took advantage of a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I am a civilian.
Yeah.
I am now a life member of a VFW auxiliary post 8100 here in Grandview because my oldest brother was a veteran of the Korean War.
Good.
That made him eligible to be a part of a VFW post. He is deceased, but I am a civilian and I enjoy the privilege of being a part of it because of my brother's service.
You know, those auxiliary, can't pronounce that right.
Yes.
But anyhow, they are wonderful for individuals who love veterans. You know, because a lot of times you have spouses that want to participate. So they have the auxiliaries.
Yes.
And the auxiliaries, they help the veterans, particularly when they get ready to have an event, whether it be an outdoors event or whether it be a formal event. The ladies as well as the men are there to help the veterans pull off those events so they can be successful. So yes, there is something for those who want to get involved with helping veterans. And I think that is so wonderful because sometimes the veterans organizations. Some are large and some are small, and it really helps the smaller organizations.
Well, this is.
So, mhm.
No, please go ahead.
Okay, I was going to go to another question. Did you have one?
Before you do, let me just remind those who are with us that the name of the program is Waive Your Grades. This program is designed to ask American students to say thank you to our troops and veterans by excelling in class at school, and the program for veterans to share with the students their appreciation of students' excellence, and as is being done today, to help veterans know the opportunities and benefits they have, our blessing with Waive Your Grades, Louis George Walker, over a few to a couple, a couple to a few years now, has been to have Rebecca Bradley share all of this valuable information. So the voice you are hearing is that of Rebecca Bradley. Frequently asked questions. What are your benefits? What can you do? And contact information. So let us go back, please, to Rebecca Bradley.
Okay, so another question is, we have veterans who are in the military and they're about to get out. And I will get a question. I am soon to leave the military. How soon can I apply? Well, they can apply, I do believe it's 60 days before they get out, 30 to 60 days, somewhere in there. I don't have the exact, but they can apply before they get out of the military. All they have to do is find a veteran service officer, and they have to just complete the form, and the form will help them apply for their benefits. And the good part is they have their medical records right there. They don't have to try to go find their medical records. They can get their medical examination before they leave the military. And I think this is probably one of the best things, because a lot of times you say you serve 6, 7 years, and even 20, you don't get a chance to always go to the doctor for little ailments. And then some things may not come out until late. And you want to take that opportunity to report to the physician everything that ails you, because the VA will acknowledge it and will continue to treat you once you get out of the military. So I would suggest, before you get out, get that physical. A lot of times in the past, I don't know about now, a lot of veterans, they're in such a hurry to get out. And when they complete that form, there's a form that we have to complete. Do you have these different ailments? And oftentimes we say, no, all those check marks. But those little check marks will kill you, because the VA can come back and say, well, I'm sorry, but you said you didn't have these problems. And then you have to go through the process of proving that you actually did have those problems. But going and getting a physical before you get out, being able to identify things that you did not go to sick call for. Because I've known people who have been in auto accidents, they jumped up, brushed themselves off, and then they find out later, oh, I'm really hurt. So this is the best time to identify those problems.
Now, one of the things that is so extremely important, but I was just thinking about the elephant in the room, or the gorilla in the garage, or the rhinoceros on the roof. We are in the throes of a pandemic now. Are there any special questions that you might be fielding now that you hadn't before the pandemic?
Well, I would suggest, because a lot of people do not want to leave their home, and people are still getting COVID even after they've been vaccinated. However, if you're that type of person and you want to submit a claim, you need to call the VA 1-800 number. That's 1-800-827-1000, and tell them that you want to submit a letter of intent. What a letter of intent does, it gives you at least 1 full year to gather up any evidence to prove your claim. But again, it will allow you to submit that from your home. You don't have to go in to see a veteran service officer, because you call them, ask them to submit it for you, and they will. If they don't, hang up, call again, somebody else will answer the phone and do the right thing.
Wow.
But letter of intent, you don't have to leave your home, and you have 1 year. And when I say 1 year, what I mean is, say you submit your claim before September 30th, even on September 30th. No. And you get approved, say, in July of next year. Well, you will get retro pay because you submitted that letter of intent. They don't include the month of September, but your pay will begin in October. But that's why it's important to submit the letter of intent. You don't have to leave your home if you're afraid of the COVID or catching the COVID, because we're in perilous times, whereas disease is not only making people sick, but it is killing people.
You are so good. I just appreciate you so much. And please let us go back to that list of questions that you have that are frequently asked. And again, contact information as we go along.
Okay. All right. Here's one. Is there a time limit to apply for benefits?
Ooh, I can see that.
And the question is no. Because some people did get injured while they were in the military. It is documented. That's the first element of submitting the claim. The second element is, did this injury continue to bother you up until now? So you have to show continuity. When I say continuity, you have to show whereas you went to the doctor, even if it's your private doctor or the VA. So that's the second element. Yes, I got injured in the military. It continued to bother me. And the third element, and this is for people who took 20 years or so to apply, you had to get your physician to say that, it's more likely than not that this same ailment is associated with the injury or mental injury that you acquired in the military. But you're not going to just go in and tell your physician and they believe. You want to take in your evidence that these are my medical records while I was in the military, and these are the physicians that I've been seeing over the years for this. Because the VA is evidence-based, because anyone can go in and say, oh, I got hurt. But if you don't have the evidence, they're going to come back and say there's no evidence. But no, there's no time limit, particularly if you can prove that you got injured while you served in the military.
And evidence doesn't mean that you have to walk in your office with a broken leg.
That is correct.
Evidence is the trail of reporting.
Correct. The trail of reporting from the beginning and throughout the years. And it also could include what we call, when we were in the military, we had a buddy statement. The physician statement would be what we call a nexus letter. And then you can get a letter from a spouse, a family member, someone who knew you before you went into the military, and someone who can say, hey, he went in fine, but he came out or she came out a little different. And people that generally go to war, a lot of times someone can identify the personality change from when they went in. So those letters from family and service members, I can't recall the name of it right now, but you can get those letters from family, and all of that's considered evidence. And they do look at those as evidence.
This is so very important for so many people. Let me ask you this. This is a question out of curiosity.
Mm-hmm.
There are veterans who indeed have fought on foreign soil, and they are eligible to join the Veterans of Foreign Wars organizations because they did in fact do that. Do you ever run into veterans who think that somehow their service was, quote, less than, unquote, because they did not engage war or they did not engage war on foreign soil? And how do you help them to understand that their service was just as valid?
Well, that's a good question, and that is a true question. We have a lot of veterans, particularly those who served during the Vietnam War, the Korean War, and even more these recent wars, but they did not go over there. There's a difference. They are what we call wartime veterans. And we need to let them know that they are eligible for certain benefits for wartime veterans. And a lot of times they feel as though they need to be a combat veteran, but they both served at the same time. They are wartime veterans, they're just not combat veterans, and we just have to explain it to them.
Excellent. Now, please give contact information again, and if you can still stay with us, I know that we have really imposed upon your time this afternoon. I am just curious about some of these questions, but certainly contact information.
816-352-2535. Again, I'm Rebecca Bradley, and I am located in the Fletcher Daniel State Building here in Kansas City. I'm on the 5th floor, room 511, and I have 2 co-workers, so I don't have to do all the work myself.
Well, me to repeat some questions, but out of curiosity sometimes, and we are a mobile society. Do you have occasion to interact with your counterparts in other municipalities across America?
You know, prior to the pandemic, they had conferences where people throughout the state would go. You know, they would have conference for women veterans, and then the Centers for Minority Veterans. They are generally federal. Like I stated, they have a federal minority veterans coordinator at every VA hospital, and they allow us state coordinators to attend. And so you learn from there. And then I belong to National Association for Black Veterans. And prior to the pandemic, they would have conference. And I had an opportunity to go and learn a wealth of information. So, yes, we try to stay in contact. And not only that, we are also doing Zoom meetings with other agencies and such. So yes, we try to ensure that everyone is informed on the latest when it comes to VA and how to help veterans apply for their benefits.
Well, my prayer is that you would certainly let us make whatever announcements are appropriate to the audience we enjoy, that is active service members, as well as veterans, students, and the parents and educators of students. You are hearing the voice of Rebecca Bradley, and Please, at least one or two more questions unless you have to rush.
Okay, let me see. Hold on. Real quick, like I put these questions together and I don't always have them. Okay, so here's one. How do I obtain my records?
Ooh,
That's the
yes.
big one. That's probably one of the most frequently asked questions. I would put that in the top 10 because when you submit a claim, you got to have your records.
Yep.
And then sometimes people don't know, a lot of times they don't know where to get them. And then sometimes they come back and say, well, they told me that they didn't have my records. So here we go. Hold on a minute.
Okay.
All right. So generally you would complete a form called SF, which stands for Standard Form 180. That's a military term. And on that form, you put in your name, your address, your birth certificate, etc. And then you would sign it and they'll send it for you. You can request not only your DD-214, that's your discharge papers, but you can request medical records, you can request medals. And if the veteran is deceased, the spouse or nearest relative can complete that form, but they will also have to show that that veteran is deceased. Now, I want to give out some numbers, and I'll go slowly for the most, if they don't have it at the National Archives, because that's where the SF form goes in St. Louis, then we'll start off with the National Personnel Records Center. This is in St. Louis. The number is 314-801-0800. Next, we have the Air Force Reserve Personnel Center. It is 1-800-525-0102. Then we have the National Personnel Command, 1-866-827-5672. We have the U.S. Marine Corps, 1-800-268-3710 or 1-800-833-2320. Lastly, we have the National Guards, U.S. Coast Guard. I'm sorry. It's 1-314-801-0800. So those are the places, different places where you can try and obtain your records. You generally can request awards and commendations as well. And lastly, if you want to, if they're taking too long, being that we're here in Missouri, we can drive to St. Louis and pick them up ourselves. So, but anyhow, I am going to have to get off the phone.
All right.
I really appreciate you giving me this opportunity, and hopefully we can do this again.
Oh, please. You know I will be calling on you. Rebecca Bradley, thank you so much for spending time on Waive Your Grades. This is valuable information, and we're going to ask that our viewers and listeners start with 816-352-2535, Rebecca Bradley.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. God bless you and yours.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye. This is Waive Your Grades, KUAW.org. We have been singularly blessed this afternoon to have as our very special guest, Rebecca Bradley. And Rebecca Bradley is with the Missouri Veterans Commission, the Minority Veterans Coordinator. Now, the interesting thing about that we have explored with Rebecca Bradley before is that while she is the Minority Veterans Coordinator, whomever you are, if you call her, she will forward your information to the proper agency whether you are a member of the minority or majority community. Her specialty is working with the minority community, and research has suggested, unfortunately, that there can be disparity in opportunity as well as resources and benefits as it relates to the access thereto. All should be able to have such access, but all don't always have the knowledge about the resources and the connections. And therefore, you have a Rebecca Bradley, minority affairs. You have, don't have the name, but a coordinator for women, service personnel and veterans, even those who are incarcerated. And she also mentioned victims as well. So when you think about the service that you have rendered to this country, when you come home, you should be able to come home to a situation better than the circumstance you enjoyed before you left. Unfortunately, too often it's just the reverse. You do not have a lot of employers saving the job for those who leave home, go to the military, and return. Now, my understanding is there are some situations wherein that job, that position is quasi saved. That is, you could get a like position or be recommended. But when you have a Rebecca Bradley at your service, you really are blessed to have that. Please remember Rebecca Bradley, 816 352 35. I'm sorry, 2535. Let me say it again, 816 352 2535. Rebecca Bradley. This is Wave Your Grades, KUAW.org. And my name is Carl Boyd. I am really honored to be your host every Saturday from 1 p.m. until 2 p.m. on KUAW.org. Our program emphasizes the relationship between acknowledging and appreciating the service of those who defend our nation and the effort of young people and their education. That's what we are about, and that's what we talk about once a week, KUAW.org, knowledge, understanding, and wisdom. It is altogether consistent, and we have just been blessed with this particular circumstance that KUAW is housed at a learning center. And much of the fare that you will hear on KUAW does indeed emphasize education. It indeed emphasizes young people not just learning, but applying the knowledge. I would ask once again, before we get out of here this afternoon, that Louis George Walker apprise us of the various programs from Black Family Technology Awareness Association, competitions, ways that your child can participate, and whatever appropriate contact information there might be where KUAW.org is concerned and where the Black Family Technology Awareness Association is concerned, where the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center is concerned. Louis George Walker, if you would, take over. And thank you. Uh-oh, you're on mute. Thank you. I am, there you go. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Today is September 25th. To students across the USA, your Students for Boots message for this day, September 25th. Study hard, work even harder, and you'll make our warriors proud. They're hearing your efforts saying thank you, and to them, achievement sounds loud. This is Wave Your Grades. My name is Carl Boyd, your host. Thank you, Louis George Walker, Rebecca Bradley, gracious God, and wonderful Wanda. I'm on my way home.